made them almost exactly the size of a regular card.
Hey boys,
Oh, we got
Kenny. I am actually helpful.
Get out of here.
Here
dude.
are the deck lists. Ooh. So this will be for this current game.
It's an interesting choice of yellow sleeves.
Okay, so this is the standard.
And then this one in
Oh, he's on the
case we're
double,
on game 2.
the double mad dash.
Can you put these with the other deck lists?
Okay, so we got deck lists. It's pretty close to.
It's actually Comrades, but
It's Comrades, Val.
without a knife and
Yeah, they cut the Mercs and the Mad Dash
for dirty laundry. And
No, we were already on 3.
Alright.
It was cut for a second Mad Dash, a spooned, and third Stim Hack
Where's the actual mic?
on the
There's-
computer.
Oh, it's on the
it's
computer?
Yeah, let me.
and the problem is we can't really talk loud because they're gonna hear us. So.
We just need some more background noise. It was better earlier.
Exactly.
All right, and this is. Oh, this is an Eric Haley special in that. Oh, he's only on. Oh, he cut the. This, no, he's on.
That makes sense. That was the approximation I got. Yes.
5 currents. 5 and 44 cards.
Exactly.
Because he loves his news hounds.
And Steven,
is a very good. Very good card.
I was while we were practicing, Eric sent me a screenshot of one of the games where he had a server that was news hounds, and when he read the third news hound, the other guy who was playing was like, "Boy, you really like news hounds," which was
sounds appropriate. Sounds appropriate enough. So Steven is playing 3 currents.
This is Steven.
Oh,
this-
they're
pretty similar.
Steven's playing
He's
3
playing 3
activists.
currents, yes.
Yeah. So he doesn't have E strike. So his hacktivist is merely replacing.
Yeah, this is a very rich MBN deck.
Yes. I was building it yesterday. And
Oh,
I was looking at it. It's tons of econ.
I gotta
tons
update
of
the score.
goes back to so it was a strong opener with this Scarcity from Eric Haley.
Yeah.
That's
a
what-
very
that's what
strong
you want to
opener.
see.
No
and then you
agenda
call and then you
HQ.
call a band. Like Scarcity calling a band. That's really good for Asmar.
Yeah, even if you hack to this, you get 2 credits.
Yes. That's great. And
Ooh, that's a rebirth. That's a pretty. He's
rebirth.
got a bunch of money. Oh,
so we can't really.
I think my play here is rebirth into Omar R&D,
I think so.
and then just like
It could be tempting to go Kim, given all the trace strength, but I think.
we really got it. We really got to speak a little less loud.
Oh really?
Yeah, because they can hear us very well.
yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is very.
I mean,
unfortunate.
honestly, when you're playing, you just like don't actually hear anything.
Yeah. And so, okay, so he's actually going to pay a full 5 for dealing fast, and I do not know about that, but he hasn't.
This looks pretty good for Eric.
Discarding.
Oh, man.
That was not a great hand from Steven.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hand that got punished very
Exactly.
hard. Like, if you just go credit, and still 2 being cast, that's pretty good.
But against Scarcity, real rough. I don't know if Eric actually mulled, but I think if he mulled, that was a good key. That was an okay key. But if he doesn't, you guys already Scarcity there.
Yeah. This is grand finals. Yeah, game 1. Stephen J coming from winners.
Yes.
Oh, this is an all-American finals.
Alright.
Sorry, Canada.
Alright, it's okay.
Can't.
We're used to being in second. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Didn't get a lot of gold medals, and though. I mean, I think you beat us, but you lost in
We lost
the
in
women's
curling.
hockey,
In curling.
which is the most important one, actually.
The women's hockey?
Yeah. Steven's other idea is PU. It's a bit cheese potato-y. Eric, there are a lot of people saying MBN was in pretty bad shape, and Eric, a couple people have been on this as Mario and shown it has some power.
It has some power. I think it's the natural. We were talking about it yesterday in night with the Montreal crew. And I think it's like the logical evolution of the CTM deck because you can't really rely on assets for your tempo anymore. So you got to rely on bigger eyes, meaner eyes, and currents and the econ from the ID to make your tax storm work. So I think it's logical evolution. Very nice deck list. I like Death and Taxes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's that relevant, to be perfectly honest, but it is a pretty good curve.
It makes you pretty rich.
Yes.
Yeah. So this feels like an obvious NGO to me. Like it doesn't make sense to really be doing anything else.
Exactly. There's not really any other.
Like you go so
agendas.
poor for his agenda, basically.
And there's no agendas really that
There's
deserve to be.
I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. You get blown out by hard-hitting news here, but I think you just gotta risk it because it's gonna take you so long to like get out of hard-hitting news. regardless.
He wants to snipe the agenda.
That's brutal. There's an IP block on top, which is just gonna go right out of
Yeah,
our
it's gonna be very rough. Yep. If
How
this
much-
is an NGO front, there's gonna be install, advance, and credit probably.
Yeah, this is.
It's pretty obvious play. Maybe the credit could be a draw, but that's drawing last. It's bad.
As Antler is bringing up the Olympics, and yes, Norway was the #1 country on account.
Okay, so this is the NGO.
Yeah. Fairly.
Pretty standard.
Yeah. Yeah, and so he knows they're an IP block on archives now. He's
A world of hurt.
yeah, it's not good.
Still an advance. It makes a lot of sense.
And there's a lot of I used to punish just like IP block is like the worst thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're in like 2 credits. If you take a tag, you're just like, now I have no money. And, like this is like I would say this is like 90% of the win from here.
Yes, this is like a nightmare situation
This
for
is
Steven.
like exactly what this deck wants to do. Is like sticking to scarcity, icing up, and just like
Exactly. You want to stick a scarcity. Gives you so much tempo against these other decks. Like this Earthrise, it's not coming down for 6 credits anytime soon.
yeah. Maybe like another day of cast. And like if you put some money, then Eric gets more money.
Exactly.
Like you wanna, I think you wanna like. Okay, so he doesn't have a black orchestra. So if like the woman's a toll booth, you wanna be like, I think you wanna be just like
You want to be
trying to go
scoring
for the
some
old
stuff.
3-point deal.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you just wanna like.
I think
score
in
as
this
much
deck
as
actually there's a lot to be said about just literally always install double eventing, whether it's an NGO, a Super Beal, GFI, even to QPM. Like you're fine with them. Right?
It's not, I feel like it depends. Like it's very dependent. There's only one data Raven, so it's not like the same.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot more hodgepodgey than like there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
You know, I think it is a very
so
cool
this
deck. It's a
15
fun deck to
minutes.
play. Okay.
Okay. You
That's
see,
okay. One of the good things about that.
I would have even like let that on the table.
Oh, well, you don't want the clearing to get the.
No. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
It's like. And so the big thing that at 15 minutes is Eric is going to win the money war of this game,
Yes.
which scoring the 15 minutes makes your exchange of information play really strong.
Very strong.
And there's a lot of turntable going around today, and I think it's a very good card right now.
Yes. Yes. I
was-
agree.
So all the console.
This is toll booth.
Yeah.
This is very strong.
Yeah, toll booth is very good ice. That's like your big win condition. Oh, sorry. See you. Oh, let's update that so people can copy some basket. Oh, sorry. Let me. It's.
So this Earthrise is actually coming down. That's
This
gotta be
is-
rough.
this is-
It's gotta be rough.
This is like a brutal. This is like
Liberated came down and an Earthrise. You know, it's already 6 credits lost. Just
I mean, it's
'cause-
more than 6 credits
yes,
because
the time that he has spent
yeah.
gaining these credits.
Guys, this is maybe a GFI, but the thing about this being a GFI is Eric goes to 3 credits to score, which means you can now pressure the central. It's a little bit risky. But if it's an NGO, so I think you don't want to run this turn.
No.
Like you can't contest this.
Well, you just can't. There's like no back orchestra. There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
There's one in hand. It's not going to break anything.
And the other, I actually think Eric's list is positive against this Val because this Val is lacking a lot of the tech that like helps out against this. One thing it's lacking is it doesn't have net carver or data sucker, so Newshound is a pay 6.
Yes.
In a game where current's just gonna be up like 100% of the time. So that helps a bunch. Like this is some cards that have gained a lot of value since rotation, like Newshounds and
Yeah. One thing I'm seeing out of Steven's list is a lot of the Vals this weekend had muscled up on the breakers. So we were seeing a lot more David. We were seeing Fem.
Data suckers.
Retrieval runs for the Fem. Steven
Just standard.
Steven doesn't have data sucker.
No.
yeah, no data sucker,
No carver.
yeah. So it's
No hunting grounds. So the Amaku is gonna be struggling against the muscle ice that we're seeing in
Steven J is
Eric's.
from Michigan.
Apparently we got it.
Yeah, even less.
I mean the stabby Kings player were being a whole shouty for a second there. I don't know if it got picked up. And maybe during the PU game when we have some extra time, I'll give you a full breakdown of Steven C's thoughts on Pretty Little Liars. But this game is a little action packed, so
So, actually going down to 2 credits, I mean, the signals in NGO front, especially for just in Archangel, like, there's not much high value stuff to bounce right now, right? So already empty, integrated, Anomical that's really bad for Steven. So.
If this is my list, we'll get posted. I think it's the brainchild of Foil Flaws, aka Peter McOwen, and Gregory Tan. It's a high product from Gregory Tan, notably second place in Worlds. Peter Foils, notable owner of Chunkers the Cat.
And Bruno the dog.
Bruno. What a great dog Bruno is.
Great dog.
I met him. Yeah.
So here, this is an actual NGO res, I guess, against the activists.
Yeah,
because it's obvious.
It's
very obvious.
It's just like, what else? Like, how could that possibly be an agenda? That would be like a super mind game of the one in the remote was an NGO, and you're just like GFI. You pulled a sweet mind game with some NGO and GFIs. Yeah, in that first game against there.
You have to.
Here we see a backbreaking news.
Yeah,
it's very strong against MK Ultra.
I think you're gonna abandon this turtle soon because you know Archives is an IP block and that's your best way to get in right now. Because that's just
very
3
rough.
credits, 2 credits. That's your best way to accesses. But if you take an attack every time, you can't do that. So I feel like you're preparing at some point in time to like Omar overinstall with the paperclip. The first time you install an IP block right now because you're so locked out.
It's going to career fair daily cast. It's still going to cost him too.
I got the primo silencing, but you know, just disembodied voices coming off. Eric has a pile of banned cards to represent the 3 types. It's Temujin, Siphon, Desperado, and I think Parasite.
Yes, that would make sense. Parasite looking great as well. With the full art Parasite.
Yeah, it seems great. Good stuff.
That's great.
All right. So this is, I'm assuming, a GFI or a Beal? Yeah, GFI. Okay. I think 3-point Beals get a little riskier when there's a turning wheel in play. Turntable? It's a turntable, yeah. So I think Val is clearly the best runner is the takeaway from this weekend, and beating Val is the job of deck builders everywhere. You know, there's a bunch of different angles of attack. They're just like okay. And
There's no real great one, which is what is also a takeaway from me for this weekend is that basically nobody knows what is the best chord right now.
Yeah. I mean, and there's 2.5 vowels or so.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the desperate situation that Corp was in, I did play Argus in response to that
did play
very
Argus.
feeling. And I mean, it was all in, and it was a big risk, but it seemed like to pay off.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. In this kind of meta, when the core can't win fair, you just gotta cheese it out. Like you can afford to play more cheesy
I mean,
builds
the
like
Argus isn't even
Scorpios.
that cheesy.
No,
right?
not that much.
Oh,
but
come
it's
on.
kind of all in.
I mean,
right?
come on, give me some credit here.
No, this is my phone.
This is my phone.
Get this out here. Yeah. It was. I mean, both your games against Eric were very good, and he's a very tight player. Like that.
But he, so it emerged during my game that about 12 turns in, he thought that I was
Yeah, see, here it
Scorpios.
is. Yeah. This is the play you gotta do.
Yeah,
You-
makes sense.
Jokers.
How many stim hacks does
Three.
Steven have?
Yeah.
So that's helping his case.
Yeah, that's like. I mean, Tollbooth against Black Orchestra without any data sync or netcarver support is oof. At C-Source is harder because once he gets just has a singleton EOI. He also has he's 2 C-Sources, 1 hard hitting news, 1 close the count, 1 exchange for information. And that's putting you in a world for.
Have these players played each other much in the past? Are they friends? Or are they from the same meta?
So Eric's from Ohio. Steven's one of the Michigan crew. Chromatically is his online name for anyone who's aware. So they been to events together. They don't play all the time, but there's like when they travel to regionals, like they'll both be there. I think they were both at Cleveland's regionals last year.
I recognize Steven's screen name chromatically from JNet. He's pretty active on JNet, very competitive.
He's a strong player. He has asked me a bunch of times about moons, and now recently he told me that Pretty Little Liars is a great show.
Is that correct?
It's if you like trash, it's pretty good.
I didn't put him on as a Pretty Little Liars viewer. So it would be more about
So here Eric is calling the program because he thinks that
back to the substance.
Yeah. So this is
that
a
Steven's
game
gonna
point install advantage.
Yes.
This is a
break
a
a deal, and I believe that is either a deal or a GFI. I think Eric is going for the win here.
Mm-hmm. You basically the only way to get in here is like stim hack.
Yeah.
It's a BP.
It doesn't have enough money to do anything. Yeah, okay. So,
Well played, Eric.
Eric C playing that very
Machine.
well. Scarcity is sticking very, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
It was the opening so strong. The IP block solidified
Exactly.
the Glacier,
Yeah.
and there wasn't much to do from there on.
Mm-hmm.
I sympathize with the Anarch player.
So Eric C, another shot. And now he's running, so he's running
we
against
gotta-
PU.
Whoops, I forgot about points again.
Just gonna go.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's I did. Take it home. Let's see. Player 2ID is Potatoes Unleashed. Cheese maximized. Valencia. BP Queen. Yeah. Whew. You know.
So let's see. What is Eric?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that decks. So Eric is playing the new Valencia that Josh cooked up with after in testing. He kept on losing to Dan and I when we threw him into Excalibur out of Ag Infusion a million times, and he got mad.
So the real standout here is that Eric is not running career fair. He's opted for employee.
But he's not running Film Critic, right?
Film critic.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Now, you do get some value out of each strike,
Mm-hmm.
but clearly the film critic would be the preferable influence splurge here.
Yeah.
He does have a turntable,
Yeah.
and it is possible to score the House of Knives to reverse a three-pointer, but I don't think that Steven, as evidenced in my game against him, is really trying to score out, right? He's trying to sit back and kill,
Grind you
basically
out.
grind you out, which he succeeded in doing very effectively against.
Yeah.
Let's see what else does.
Yeah.
What else does Eric have going for him in this matchup?
So things he's got going for him: turning wheel, rebirth into Omar, and perfect. We just got a nice screen. I can shout real loud and no one can hear me.
What about this RNG key? Is this a factor in the PU matchup?
Yeah, I'll talk about this deck real quick. So basically, we've seen a couple times on stream. Its splash is employee strike. It doesn't have indexing. It has turning wheels. It has data sucker. It has RNG key. It's find the truth. And basically, the goal of it is to make like one run a turn and just grind. And every turn you get a bunch of value and you can use BP until it's like a little bit like the old Andy decks where you just like you want to make lots of like one run a turn. Except now you have turning wheel as your multi-axis and it just grows and grows and grows.
During my game with Steven, I wanted to make a run every turn to deny the shipment from Tenon, which he didn't seem to have and never played during the entire game. However,
he has it in his deck, so
if Eric pursues that strategy, he will have find the truth, which will help him gain information, no matter what kind of run that he makes.
And so
there is some value in the two find the truth copies of Find the Truth. However, it's very taxing to run against PU. So it'll be about the opening. Does he get the Omar? Does he get a clean access on HQ or R&D without suffering the snares? And of course, the
Breach Dome.
The Breach Dome was a nasty one, the upgrade.
Oh, the Hakusai grid?
The worst. Absolute worst.
Also,
it's a house of pain.
As a replacement for Wampo, Stephen J is running Disposable HQ.
Yes, that's correct. I saw that.
Which is... Oh, he's on 3 archive memory. Okay, so this was like the Comrades PU list, but updated. So let's see. He lost the Wampos. He gained an archive mem and 2 disposable HQs, and 2 voter intimidations, and what are his cuts? He's got the same ice. He's got the same assets. Oh, he lost the IPOs. Okay. That's an interesting one. Okay, that's a strike turn one, which is pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, because it's pretty hard for him to clear this. Yeah, it says Eric cards you want to be drawing for your turning wheel, or sorry, your turning wheel.
Your Omicron.
Okay, so you just snap it's all that turning wheel.
Turning wheel, for sure.
Because you can't afford to lose that. And you gotta be careful of the voter intimidation for it.
But in this deck, it's gonna be, it's gonna have to happen. Because there's no film critic. There's no way around it.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is, I would say Eric's ahead. He is ahead in this matchup. I would say he's like a 60% or something, maybe 65.
But it's much closer than the film critic version.
Yeah.
I mean, E-Strike is saving you a lot of HP.
Yeah.
And as long as he can deny the shipment from Tenon, House of Knives, then that E-Strike could actually hang out for a while. Not to mention the fact that he can replace it several times. I actually think that I don't know how to play against PU.
You played pretty well.
The only thing that I can think of doing is actually denying the shipment from Tenon, because once the House of Knives is active, it's a world of pain.
Yeah. I think the big thing, the only really misplay I remember seeing in your game versus him was early on he left
last night.
There was that, and then early on he left HQ open, and you kept him running and seeing ice. And when he continues to not ice HQ, that seems to me as a sign that he doesn't have agendas in HQ.
Yes, you're right. My thinking, as I was saying, is I wanted to make a run every turn to deny the shipment from Tenon, I made a colossal mistake, however. When I scored the House of Knives,
Yeah, he just left it on the table.
I did not. I should have hosted it,
Yeah,
and I should have kept hosting without scoring,
Yeah. If any,
because he just trashed both film critics.
with voter intimidation.
There you go.
And he can't do that until an agenda is on the table.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get the turning wheel down before that gets sniped by accident. Okay.
Have these players faced each other? Have they
I don't
faced this
think they
matchup
played each other
during the
today.
tournament?
No,
Yeah,
they did
but
not.
Eric tested a decent amount at Worlds with us in terms of he's played
So
against PU
he'll be
before.
completely familiar with this
Yeah.
build. It's barely different
Yeah.
than the existing Comrades Hot Potato.
Yeah, you play against it very similarly.
Yeah.
It's interesting that deck. I mean, there was a lot of gossip going into Worlds, and most of it was around CI, and there was just crazy rumors about the CI brain rewiring. But I did not hear until the finals. The day one approach. That's when you started hearing about.
The PU servers is
About the
probably when
PU.
the news broke about the PU to the grand public, I would
And
say.
I'll never forget. Players were running back to their collections to pick up the
Feedback.
to pick up the feedback filter, which is shameful. I shame on those players for their callous opportunism.
I mean,
Sorry, I just thought I would virtue signal just a
the
little bit
bigger
more before
thing
the day
is
is done.
there is not feedback filter is the most miserable card to play against. And it just disposable.
HQ, yeah.
I must say, so I splurged on Hernando Cortez in my Val deck, but I really, really was strongly considering a Caldera.
So if there's anything important in there, it's not there anymore.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you gotta trash it because
Yes. You cannot leave this.
what PU wants to do is just click for credits and not draw the agendas until they have a million things on the Yeah, can we not print cards that just put things on the bottom like that? It's
let's
just such a
think.
bad idea.
So is anything shuffling the deck
Preemptive.
so he can only shuffle his own deck, and if a Miraju fires, and Eric is not running
indexing.
indexing,
No Resi
so there
Mirage.
is no real reason to fire off your Miraju, and who knows if it's down right now.
Okay. Yeah, so come on, put your turning wheel down.
It is risky.
You never feel completely good running into a PU server.
Yeah. Look at him. Eric played like 3 games where he didn't find the truth, and after everyone, I was like, Eric, I watched your game. You need to find the truth. And so finally, he developed.
That's a good point by Thyke here. Thank you for pointing that out, actually.
Do you wanna move things? Jason, stream here. I was messing with the levels. Okay. To like try and get you the Hawkins. There's nothing like Eric joking around. Setting up device. We're setting up Yeti stereo microphone. Okay. Okay.
Where do you see the viewers? Like the number?
I don't know. I don't know how a computers work.
And then they saw the Thrones cards and were like, get out of here, nerds.
Dun, dun, dun.
What kind of money's on the line for this?
Looks like the mic might have just been disconnected. 1 of 6 viewers. Thank you, commentariat.
Hold on. Let me think. Can I? One to install this, and 2 to your turn.
Yeah, so he's installing MK
No, I'm
Ultra.
tracking my money. Like how many times I'm actually clicking.
Arc knockdown.
Yeah, which is a very real fear. And
There are
Commander,
3 copies, right?
one thing this deck lacks, the Comrades Val had.
No, I
is
was trying to say.
Turtle
I
is
took 4
very
last
good
turn
in
to
PU
install this.
matchup because
This turn I
all their
did.
ice is like 1 string, and you got bad pub and.
There it is.
Oh.
That's big.
It's a huge.
This is looking.
It's a tiny 1-pointer, but it causes so much damage.
Get it out of here.
It triggers your ability,
You're a
and now the
very
E-strike
rude
is gone
boy.
on top of that.
Very big.
What a
Yeah,
very, very
I
rude
feel
boy.
like I would put Stephen J as up in this game, like 70-30 or something like that. Eric needs to do what we refer to as finding the guy, which is finding Rebirth so he can turn into Omar. Pretty soon, and he needs to find a server that he can grind up turning wheel counters, and that's his line.
That's correct. It's
Let's run R&D.
a possible out is the turntable.
Just running R&D, Psyche. It's very annoying.
Do a side game?
first.
I have to give hats off to Steven. It was a very good side game player.
Yeah.
What
You
happened?
play a lot of side games. There's a
The-
lot, there's
the
a lot of
IE
real
key,
like.
I think he got every IE key fire that he wanted on me.
Yeah, I remember like watching one of them and like he bid 2, and I was like, whoa. No.
So the Psyche fire, pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a
So
lot
it's a
of
risk you need
points,
to take,
you know.
I think. It's like that's a good mill. Because
And yeah, the second turning wheel is a good mill because there's got to be a
Sure.
voter intimidation sub
Yeah.
point. So
yeah.
it's very, very good.
Okay, so yeah.
Cool.
One thing about this ice placement is he was on the inside because he wants to shut down the turning wheel counters.
Very good.
That's one.
No, the net is after the side game.
Shipments.
Too late for me to ignore you. I caught you. Eric's running 3D strikes. Okay. Yeah, this is looking rough. So we got a probable 3 agendas on the
Oh, you
bottom.
took that dirty
1
laundry
agenda
also.
scored, which leaves us with 5 agendas left in that deck.
Guess I'm gonna get this one.
We're in
Eric,
fine.
yeah. Eric needs to create some kind of urgency
Yeah,
here,
this reached out.
which will be very hard to do without
Alright,
taxing
alright,
himself.
like,
Yeah, it's,
But slowing down, crediting up, there's nothing really to be gained.
did he hit a dome in archives? Oh,
let me think. I
disposable
do a
is
find
taking
the truth.
files out of archives.
Oh
I
my
think,
god.
And get a data sucker. Keep.
It's definitely worse than Longbow.
So Kenny, are you saying you helped design this?
Disposable fires, but
What came to be known as the Comrades PU?
Okay, that's
I helped test it.
I see.
I have like not very many ideas. I just helped play test a lot. That was my contribution.
Cool.
The most creative people were basically Josh, Jonas, and Abram. They made basically all of the decks. And Josh is probably
The entry of PU
75%.
into the world's field was very interesting because, as I was mentioning earlier, people didn't really see it coming, and there was something else about it. Is that it's strangely with a deck that was not taken very seriously. It wasn't, but then suddenly you had the appearance of PUs everywhere worlds, and they were shredding people's decks apart. So it was a great. It's not just a great meta choice; it's a great deck. It's really aggressive.
It was like when we first started, basically like immediately in our testing, it was Haley is the best deck by a lot, and we were just figuring out how to beat him, and we
The
tried to beat.
tapeworm head.
Alright.
So we played like a clone chip tapeworm Haley, like the a Perka one, and that was like our deck speak for a while, and basically
Instead of Levy.
yeah.
Yes.
And then we saw them playing the Levy one. We just kind of like posted it and analyzed Chris, a New York City player, designed it. Who's a very good deck builder. Who's made a bunch of stuff. He was actually like the first person I saw put Stinson in. Oh, did we? What's happening?
Oh, snare, huh? Snare's a problem.
Eric thinking about the bad things.
Snare's a problem. Reached him. Thinking.
technically you draw that. I'm sorry. I've had worse goes first. I don't want to do this.
Well, you're gonna see it either way.
Yeah.
Does I've had
It's your
worse?
turn, so I've had worse go first. I think.
Does I've had worse
I'm not
trigger
sure.
first, or does his ability trigger first?
No, you draw your cards.
Okay.
Okay, so you draw that.
Yeah, don't put it next to your.
Okay. And then you mill one.
And then mill one. Okay, not the guy.
I'm thinking
That's
about
what we
it.
don't want to mill.
Do I wanna?
Eric is the lower seed for if that becomes relevant. If this goes to time. This is an HQ run. You gotta trash that.
Yeah, I wanna.
How much HP is remaining in now?
Oh, that's the score.
Steven has a point.
Alright.
Make it space 1.
Yeah, I know. That's like their one hot tip about how to make things look nice that I actually followed.
I don't know if you knew this was streaming did have the snare in hand. So if you want to say it, I'm kind of
So he apparently had the snare in hand, so Eric dodged the side game to the inverse side game, I guess. The 1 out of 3 from the Alright.
Was Steven the only PU player?
He might have been.
And what explains... So, I spoke to players about why there had been less PU out on the field, and the answer seemed to be that the loss of Wampoa reclamation was too taxing.
Yeah, it's a pretty big loss.
But disposable HQ is a very... It's not as good. However, it is doing the kind of work that
it was a good replacement.
Wampoa might have.
Yeah. You know, it did a lot of work this game. One of the issues is the issue it has as opposed to Wampo is that like the runner has a lot more control over what you're doing.
I'll run HQ.
Yeah. This is not looking great for Eric. He needs to find the guy soon. I think these HQ runs are good, especially since you almost want to just run and jack out. But I guess this is where you want to be getting your runs in. You know.
Why do you say you would want to run and jack out?
Just to get a turning wheel counter.
I see.
Like,
I mean, that is probably his best line of play at this point.
Third click.
Yeah, you've got.
Draw card.
How many counters are left on the House of Knives?
1, I believe. Yeah. You just spam them out immediately. It's generally not a ton of value in waiting. You're just hit points, and you're not doing a ton of click compressing. You often keep the last one for like forcing them to draw like one more card to be able to see like avocado, because oftentimes you know where the avocados are. I hope we see some side games this game. Eric is it's the cream of side games. He's very good, but he's not Michael Jordan, which is at this point confirmed Josh.
Take 3 cards. I have to discard.
Alright. Okay, we got RNG key.
How is time a factor in this game?
Well, it's 60 minutes because it's grand finals.
Right. Which actually greatly favors Steven.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. He's also the higher seed, so I would say Steven's way up, but not a slam dunk from here.
Isn't overcrocking like a big mistake?
Generally, yes.
Because Eric just like pitched a bunch of times. Well, this PU that went to time a few times.
He's got an extra 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying.
Draw for 1.
You can get a time. Alright.
Is that last one?
Everyone's slowly losing me as they get bored. Bum, bum, bum. Whew, this is looking bad for Eric. It's breaking my heart.
Draw for 2.
What is up with you people? After you stand and sacrifice this heal.
6 cards.
You can, but then you fall right back down.
Well, we gotta be quiet. My preference would be to give in some fucking Jim Ross commentary here. Sorry for the F-bomb. Okay, come on. Eric knows this game is... Let's face it, he knows he's getting slowly grinded out. So maybe setting up a turning wheel play in which he...
I think you're trying to find the dude. You really need Omar here. Ugh. This HQ upgrade, is it just... I mean, like, you can't do anything about disposable HQ. You get, like, one access to hit the agenda out of there, and then the rest go to the bottom.
Omar would be... is the out right now.
No, you don't!
Like, if he hits disposable HQ and he puts, like, 3 cards at the bottom, then what you immediately need to do is just figure out where you can collect technical counters. Like, you want to run HQ now because the odds of an agenda are not me.
The first
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Eric.
Yeah, we'll play that.
Let me tell you, Eric is a guilty. It's a guilty guy. Every time I told him, I was like, Eric, you remember to find the truth? And he's like, oh no, I'm a terrible person. I should say Hail Mary.
I mean, I only just met him in our face-off.
Is there a paid ability
In which
before
he,
you choose whether or not to?
It's a 101.
No.
It's funny, I did not know why he kept telling me. He asked me if I want to remove cards from the game
I think I will check out.
every time that he was trashing something, and I didn't know how to react. And at some point it dawned on me that he thought that my ID was Scorpios. And even more striking is that he was playing it exactly as though I were a Scorpios. He's being very hesitant in the runs, not being aggressive. And Argus is exactly the opposite type of strategy. You want them to run on you, and you want to rush out.
Fourth click, I'll go ahead and rebirth.
We talked about the Argus matchup a lot.
Now here's the
It's
rebirth.
Omar.
Okay, we got the dude.
The no-brainer rebirth.
First click, I'll draw. Oh, okay.
What? No.
Upgrade 90.
He joked Kim. Eric knows. Eric's not going Kim. Oh my God, Eric.
Now we know that's a reference to
Okay.
the quarterfinals at Worlds, the famous rebirth into
Upgrade
Kim. And who was the culprit?
It was
I
none
will,
other than Alex White.
Omar,
Alex
Yeah.
White. You've gone down into history. We all know who to rebirth into now.
you're resting that?
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for
That's-
teaching us this very important lesson.
First I will use.
This is a
Find
world of
the
hurt.
Truth
But
to
how many
top
counters
part of
does he
my
have? He has 6
Seems
counters.
good.
He found the truth. I think you wanna go R&D. You wanna find the
access
truth
that.
figure. I don't really want to be running
R&D, I'm
HQ,
guessing.
Let's face it, the true clown
Yeah.
rebirth would have been
I'm gonna
Max.
guess, Garage, 1.
Yeah,
is what I'm
yeah.
gonna guess.
Danger
Sorry
General
about that.
also rebirthed into
Take a
Kim
look.
right after we made fun of Alex for doing so.
Oh, we need to shame him as well. Every opportunity to do so, we'll be there for you.
Yeah.
This is Nietzschean commentary. We got the high morality, low morality, shaming
one.
tactics,
Yeah.
and so on. This is highbrow stuff. This is not just Android Netrunner. These Hokusais,
Yes, it's trash.
they've got to go.
Yeah.
Hey, Hokusai Grid has got to go.
Cool. You're a very good boy then.
Yeah,
Not a
my
very
food, that was one of my highlights of worlds.
What just happened?
I will draw for.
How's
First
No.
click. Second click.
That's a big one.
That's good. Don't do it.
which is
You get to
I'm
tell
not
me.
sure
what
what
not
everyone's
to do.
giggling about. I missed it, unfortunately. I think Eric was cracking some jokes.
Draw again.
Yeah, it was Alex's that game. I was watching it, and Chris and I came up like about a minute after it started. And both of us were like, "Why is he Kim?" And then Dan comes up and he's like, "Why is he Kim?" And
Actually,
then Josh comes up. He's like, "Why is he Kim?" And it was just everyone was just like,
It's funny, I have a rebirth story with Dan. I faced him in the first round of Worlds, and I scored an AR security, and he proceeded to rebirth into Kim,
"Oh no."
which forced him to take tag every time that he accessed an operation, which is obligatory.
Correct.
Classic Dan story.
He got away with that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cards in hand.
Yeah. Oh man. Need some chapstick. Canada's dry. Not as dry as Minnesota was. That's the hottest world tip, honestly, is be prepared for Minnesota to be dry as fuck.
Where are you from, Kenny?
I'm from New York City.
Oh, I've heard of it. This is the capital of the United States. Is this correct?
Correct.
It's good to be educated by our superior economic neighbors to the south. I'm a mere Canadian observer.
You're from Montreal, right?
We're slow. Do
you speak French?
Yes. Je parle français.
Nice. I really wanted this to be here. I really wanted to go to Montreal because I wanted everyone to speak French and be rude and have good food. That was what I really wanted in my Canadian experience. This is my favorite thing. Our food, rude people, and French is fine.
That's an accurate synopsis of what Quebec is like. Now, so from here on out, I will speak in French, and Kenny will merely type subtitles so that our non-French audience can
Oh,
understand.
damn strikes. Yeah, employee
What's it
strikes.
got? Is this HQ?
Oh no! Oh wait, I draw this. You're gonna see it anyway.
Let's start watching the game here.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good. Surprised you don't know that.
Milling.
Oh, sorry. Oh, do you want me to shuffle this since you
Yeah.
saw that?
Classic.
And then last click, I'll just credit.
Wait, it's still my. Oh yeah, it's
So
strike.
there's a value
Draw
neuro, which I think
neural,
was a little bit of a mistake. You don't really want to be doing that when strikes
I
out,
have to.
and especially when
Still,
you
Eric's HP
all these
looks
cards I got.
critically low already. And I
Maybe
mean,
I
just
should just
testament
use
to
all
the
these
power of
turning
this
wheels.
deck. A mere House
about
of
that?
Knives
What do you
has
think of
been
that?
scored.
Up to you.
What about
There's
you, viewers
nothing
at
else
home?
on-
What do you think?
there's no Incusa in Anarch. There's a Gabali, which is our hot Excalibur Scorp tech. We thought we're in a bit of a gear check meta where a lot of the best decks against Val are Ag Infused. Josh got really mad because Dan and I got them
do I have
beating
to
with
use
Ag
String Wheel
Infused,
before
and we would just like
find
Resin Excalibur on a remote score and Nisa. We would install Advance behind Excalibur, whatever ice with a Nisa, score it, and then just fast track the next Nisa, put it behind there, score the
We're
next one.
gonna
They ran
find
it
the
the
truth.
Excalibur though.
Ridiculous.
Or we're gonna Omar.
Okay, thinking. How many here?
So yeah.
Oh, shout out to Grog Boxer. You're out in New Zealand, is that correct? Why are you awake
Okay,
right
so
now?
I'll use
Shouldn't
find
you
the
be
truth
sleeping?
first, so I'll look at two.
Rockbox is in Seattle.
One.
Yeah,
What?
I put it down to
One
4.
turn. Okay, cool.
My bad. I was thinking of someone else, man.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you just want to be going
So I'll
R&D.
access R&D.
Right on, right on.
2.
There's a lot of we're being corrected quite frequently here. It's a good thing we're not being paid to do this.
3.
Are you being paid?
We.
Card.
It's a pro bono commentary.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry on this Sunday afternoon. This is a slow grind. A slow march to the top.
He hit a dome. Where did he hit a dome from?
That dome piece.
Oh wait, East Strike.
No.
Oh no. Oh, Breach Dome. Okay.
Aaron was panicking. Oh, no strike. But dome
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
matter
yeah,
what.
yeah.
It's not shock. That card rotated.
There you go. I was thinking it was
Get another counter.
Dividus or Divadus.
Yeah.
Or divide us. It's like the Obama. He wants to divide us.
That's a good one. I'm gonna start calling him Obamacare. Yeah, all New Zealand
if I ever want to install. Yeah, for the, if I ever wanna
contingent
install
came to
Netrunner.
Worlds, and it was a great time meeting them. I talked with Mike a bunch online. Gubbubs is a huge fan of Scoop's cast, as you can see on this lovely map on the left.
They were a great
Yeah.
crew. They were absolutely a great crew. They were a pleasure to meet. And I mean, gosh, we made a short trip out to Minneapolis. Those guys came from
Hedge fund.
halfway across the world.
I mean, to be fair, to get to anywhere from New Zealand, it's just like if you look at it on a map, it's like Australia's really far from everything, and New Zealand's
Okay,
just
let's,
even further. Like it's like pretty far from Australia. Like
do it again.
it's
We're playing the wheel.
it's just
This time I'll
it's not Hawaii
Okay.
far, but it's pretty out there. Mike, I gotta put Mike on blast real quick. We play this game called HQ Trivia.
Okay.
And every time there's like a question, and Mike just does not know what's going on. he was just like, there's a question about like,
And then I'll
it's just like the
access
questions 1 and
R&D.
2 are always
2 cards.
really easy, and Mike's always like, help guys, that one was pretty hard, and it's just like,
One more card.
just 2 absurd answers. Woo! Eric, that's a big hit.
What did he score?
A Philotic. Okay, now
Now
we're
that puts him ahead. But the thing is,
now we're gonna play
he
some
needs
side
to
games.
close out the game. There's no way that he's
Don't worry,
going to
I'm
win
getting
this
this
on
paper.
time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good
Don't
idea.
you-
Good plan.
Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
That's not
Okay,
a
so we're
problem
about to
for
play
me.
some side games. I think
Might be a problem
this
for
is
you.
maybe the thing I'm most excited for is we Steven J put you through the ringer on side games. It was a very impressive side game performance, but he's
I did have the win at a point, right? I hit the future perfect,
and
I
he
missed
got
it.
you. And both the local dealings ones were huge impacts, right?
Oh, you mean the one that trashed the film critic?
Yeah, and he won 2 of them in a row, right?
Yeah, it was brilliant.
You know what? I don't mind.
And
So
we got
I'll run
update
here.
points.
Breaking the 2 nets for 3. Yeah, 4 and a half.
What do you mean by that, Rodage? The detour.
Master.
Yeah, he puts it on top because he spent all day forgetting how card worked and just.
Does it make better? Let me see.
Yeah. Okay. So
Stall this.
Eric is I'm on top of the points now.
Thinking.
Yeah, so Eric is very smartly trying to use his turning wheel counters before the side games happen.
So I just don't see the turntable really being a factor here.
Yeah, it's like
Because Steven's not scoring out.
it is providing a very valuable mem for this memory-intensive rig.
Yes, thank you.
This data sector is actually doing nothing in this matchup. Like, the data sector does nothing, right?
Yeah.
Data sector does
bounce.
nothing.
Okay.
There's not a single piece of device it's relevant for.
Ike?
But you're just Black Orchestra.
Your turn.
Yeah. One more.
It's relevant for.
Omar.
It's not relevant.
Yes, no,
Yeah,
it is
I'll
for
take
Cortex Lock.
He's not playing Cortex. He knows the list.
Who's this person with the screen name The Big Boy? That sounds like an interesting screen name. Is he a known member of the community or?
Why are you trying to intimidate?
That's some clown they made him job. All right, it's side game time. Do you-
Especially in our country, the great.
I'm feeling.
I don't believe Steven has a Cortex Lock in his deck.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Okay, so Eric's trying to bid the same.
15 before
Yeah.
break.
Oh, this is the classic Eric
Okay.
Haley maneuver. The think for a long
I think
time.
I do.
He got him. We got.
Install this in archives. Take it.
You want to comment?
No, I'm cool.
Okay.
I'm chilling. I don't want to
There's
be on
another
there.
one in here. That's not good. Certainly not good.
Whew, he got him. That was a big hit. That's a turning wheel is very good in this matchup. Okay, we
Eric,
finally got a nice
do we
knockup.
do we have eyes on the size of Eric's stack? How much HP he's got now?
I'll go check.
Josh Wilson is going to go tell us how many cards roughly are in Eric's stack, but it really doesn't look like that many.
Yeah.
Do you have the list or is it on the list over there?
I have the list. Yeah, why?
Hold on.
I thought about 10.
Yeah.
One, 4 cards.
Seems alright. We got about 10 cards in
1,
the
2,
stack.
3, 4. So
He's running out of time.
Okay, so this,
I will.
I have
Okay, we
60
got a
minute
minute.
match,
First.
right? So
yeah.
Okay.
it's going to go to somebody wins.
Uh,
Yeah.
What I meant was.
Yeah, Eric's on there.
I'll access.
I put Eric at like 30%, 20% from here.
Oh, yeah. Is it advancement counters or?
There's 3 agendas on the bottom.
At the end of this game,
Okay.
when Eric's
3.
in like full desperation mode.
Cool. Thank you.
Big hit. We got a house of
Yes,
knives.
that was a good hit.
Okay, so
3
now.
credits. Well,
Update.
yeah.
Yeah.
3 credits.
Okay, so that's one of the reasons that's a big hit.
That's
Omar.
interesting.
Oh,
So
no, sorry.
it's
Yeah.
interesting for a
Two
number of
credits, sorry.
reasons.
Thank you.
Mad dash into weapons.
You can. Mad Dash win the TFP side game.
How many preemptive actions have been burned at this point?
0
Yeah,
because
sure.
he buried 3 agendas very soon to
Exactly,
the game.
so he doesn't want-
Just
Did he bury them with the Wampa?
with just a principal HQ.
Now that's interesting because the preemptives. I mean, let's see here. Does Steven
His PU deck might be the best deck right now.
Maybe.
Steven has to score out eventually.
Yeah, this is for people not aware with the cheese potato scoring sequence of this deck. It's shipment from tenon, shipment from tenon, shipment from tenon, 2 House of Knives and a Philotic, and then you hopefully try and grind the amount of points and score an avocado. That's like generally the scoring pattern.
But
That's
Kenny,
how-
I want to ask you this. So, because this is a longer match, that disadvantages Eric. However, it could still nevertheless come to the point where Steven has to score.
Yeah.
Now, that could put Steven in a somewhat awkward position because this deck is not designed to score. And it could be the case that Eric is able to camp the remote,
Access that.
and the fact that he has turntable is now doubly interesting.
Yeah.
Because then, let's say Steve goes to score a 3-pointer. Well,
I mean, he's
That gives Eric an excellent chance to just exchange it.
You get a voter
Taking him
intimidate,
to
might find the
5.
truth.
It's not. That's a pretty good idea, actually.
It is.
I didn't even think about
well,
it.
we got
Actually,
some shouting.
that
I
was
wonder what it's about.
Go ahead.
I'm actually definitely gonna do that. So archive voter, second click voter.
Okay, we're side gaming again. I'm not sure what we're. I guess we're side gaming for Find the
I was
Truth.
gonna value Neuralink, so
I'm not even sure if this is necessary, but
This is pretty good.
I guess you do it. There's
Do
no
we
more-
know? Do we know how much time has elapsed?
We don't. I would assume they got like at least like half an hour.
Oh
20 minutes.
no!
Did you hear
What a waste.
And then Eric
you goaded me into this.
Are you
You goaded me into
and he was like, no. But that's a really good idea.
Classic.
You have one more click, don't you?
Classic. So Eric putting some pun through next level line, suggesting he archive mem for the voter intimidation only to lose the side game.
Sorry, I keep checking.
So to win the side game and waste of archive memory.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
What a player.
I mean, okay, so what's Steven thinking here? Is he how is he going to close this game? Does he want to close it by killing him?
That's Omar.
Does he want to close it by scoring? And is this relevant?
I think
does he have a determinate strategy in mind?
Okay.
here?
I'll name 5.
I think how you want to close this game is you want to find.
There's only 5 minutes left.
Oh shit.
I don't know. I can't see from here.
So we've just learned from Josh Wilson that there are in fact 5 minutes left out of the 60-minute.
I don't know what happened.
I'm not going to say anything.
We're getting
Say what
conflicting
you're
reports
talking
about how much time is left, but if there are in fact 5 minutes left, and look if you look at Steven's hand movements,
sure he
they're
knows it's supposed to be 60.
extremely.
I asked, and Peter was like, "Yeah, he knows." I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Steven
Okay.
does look like he's hurrying up now,
So,
as evidenced by his rapid
One,
hand
I will be able
movements.
to steal
And
a,
well,
Yeah, so Eric is running. His Omar play is basically for free every turn.
better get
5 minutes left.
Yeah, 5 minutes. This looks like Eric's gonna win on
Really?
time.
60 minutes?
It has been quite a while.
now Eric's in great position. He's in a similar position that I was. However, he has a turntable. Now
I don't
that
think
makes
the
it.
turntable's relevant. You know, it's.
Yes, it is relevant.
Omar.
I mean, I guess if he scores it, he can swap see it, but
Because let's say he scores a 3-pointer, that takes him to 4. That leaves Eric at 3. However, his next score,
I'll name
or
one.
let's say he's able to interrupt the next score, that
Check it out.
keeps him determinately ahead of
Voter
Steve.
intimidation.
I must. Can we get a?
Yeah.
What does our viewers think about the current situation? Is it going to go to time?
it's going to go to time. He needs to like preempt it actually, just to be able to. I don't think he's got the agenda.
I don't think
But
Eric
at-
can lose it if he gains.
At this point, Steven's strategy, which was like working phenomenally well for him, in the sense that Eric was not able to score, is now kind of backfiring because those agendas are at the very bottom of the stack, and it would be difficult for him to score those. And what's going to kill Eric at this point? It's true that he doesn't have much HP remaining, but I don't see what's going to finish him again.
Kareem stepping up, defending his title.
Alright, that's
I think Steven may know that he's kind of dead. I'm just having some fun here. These are not a line to win.
Everybody dies turn.
Did you do one a third time in a row?
Yeah.
I feel like you wouldn't. Well, you definitely
Eric,
would.
Eric's very confident in
already
this
out
one.
there.
He knows.
What a champion! Oh my god.
Your turn.
I'm the Michael Jordan of side games.
You're goddamn Kareem!
Is that's your turn? Okay.
That is just sick. That's what
Time in the
makes this
round?
runner interesting.
Eric trying to declare he's the Michael Jordan, but
Thinking.
his chance
But
of
he's
that he got denied in Louisville.
It's not.
He's not.
We're receiving a word from a gentleman standing next to us that he is not, in fact, the Michael Jordan of side games.
Okay.
Sorry, who are you,
I'll
sir?
name one.
I'm the Michael Jordan.
The Michael Jordan of
He
side
has
games
just
standing
reaffirmed his identity as the actual Michael Jordan of side
That's
games.
right.
First quick draw. Second quick draw.
That's fine. He had a shot at you and he blew it in low.
Go. Did you get it?
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
Eric,
We Captain Fisk or
Let's
Frisk? Captain Frisk. I don't want to address this perverted name. My God. I was about to dignify that question. Now
not
not.
quite. Still
Alright.
pretty expensive though.
Exactly. Now that it's timed, I can't see how Eric loses.
yeah.
And does Eric slow play here? Is the question, or does he?
Hey, I don't
think
slow
he's-
play people. What's wrong with you guys? That's against the rules, you
We
know.
can hear you.
All right, we'll calm down. I thought this board was soundproof.
I'll spend 3 on the Marvel so that we'll play Sunday.
Yeah, I heard that.
Let's. Who is this gentleman standing behind us?
Just some guy
I gotta
that
pay
lost
all
his
this?
back because
I'm sorry.
I didn't have enough time.
Okay. Hey, that's a lot of money.
He found the dude. Eric's playing the
Seven.
dude well. He found the dude.
Find the truth. Okay. I'll guess 3.
Taking his line. He's done
Yep,
correct
makes
things. That's like.
Who's not up with Eric's last season?
Yeah.
That's actually.
It puts this on game point if you want a real win.
Click 2.
What?
They're not gonna talk because you can't score a Jedi.
Yeah.
It's like 3 minutes.
I mean, you can double shot it.
Biotic double.
Click 3.
He doesn't even have a remote.
Take 4 credits.
You don't want a remote to shoot. Oh yeah.
You can't.
This is pretty locked up, and I think.
Wait, yeah, take 4 credits off this. Sorry.
I think that's.
It's all skill. Josh, this is a very, very skill-based game. 5 seconds. I can't
Cool.
really describe how much skill it is.
Take 13 credits. Good game, man.
And there we have it. Eric Paoli.
Looks like Eric Canoli is the winner, the Canadian champion. Another American victory on
You didn't draw.
Thunderous applause.
You needed a Kakugo.
Another American victory.
another American victory. What a great away team to root for.
King
I
of the
can't help but
Erics.
agree. The United States has reasserted its dominance over its fledgling opponent to the north.
Our anemic neighbor to the north.
Hey, that's against.
And we really gotta give hats off to Eric here. It looked like Steven's game very early on.
I heard that there was a disposable HQ to put like a bajillion points.
That looked like it was favoring Steven very much. However,
Did you shuffle the deck?
it's not that he shuffled the deck, it's that as time wound down, and it wasn't a particularly slow game, but the urgency of the scenario just totally reversed the favor towards Eric. It's something that
Right.
Kenny did not foresee, and frankly, I didn't either.
You know, I honestly, part of me, I mean, I really hate to see tournament wins. Obviously, this wasn't a fun win, so it's great. But, like, I hate that there's a competitive deck that you come and play, and, like, there's just such a big factor. Like, you know, it's like.
There have been decks like that. RP, there have been slow decks.
We actually, Kenny and I were actually talking about when I first built RP, we were all playing Indiana, and we were saying, like, well, this deck seems pretty good, but we don't want to bring it to a tournament because it's real slow. And then since then, we've got decks like the Potatoes Unleashed, Hot Tub Time Machine, IG-54, like, all these decks that, like, honestly.
So at this point, I need to ask you, Dan D'Argenio, are you a good person, or is it your wish to break the meta? And
I just like winning. Winning at all costs. I mean, I'm happy to have fun.
and how has that worked out for you?
Well, not well today because I didn't pay the costs necessary to win. Like, you know, practicing and learning. I had to read a lot of cards on the weekend. I came here to have fun, honestly. So look at that
subscribe.
beautiful trophy.
Yeah.
So we have a champion, the champion
You can
crown.
follow me on
Look at that, and the
Twitter
Scoopscast
at
map
2netdamage,
prominently
the number
displayed.
2. And,
If you don't know about
follow me on
Scoopscast-
Tumblr at Tiny Cartridge.
That's because you weren't supposed to know about
You
Scoopscast.
can follow me on Slack for. I don't really post on Slack.
Let's have a final word from Base Up and see the original commentary.
Yeah.
I think Eric
Shoutouts
is indeed
to,
the Michael Jordan of side games.
No, he's not.
No, Josh.
If anything,
Joshua's good side game.
if anything, he's the Dennis Rodman of side games.
Although I did kill Joshua in draft because he
Shoutouts
lost his
to
psychic
Peter,
field side
Ellie,
game,
and
and then I
John.
wrote with him a 6 advance round.
After this game, we're We're gonna need a Scotty
You gotta
Pippen.
get everything to 6 events, so that way they think that maybe it's a government takeover.
Eric had a shot at Josh at at Cleveland Regionals last year, where in the final game it was the game-winning stadium on TFP for whoever won it.
This guy won
Not
national
anymore.
championship.
Not anymore.
How do we edit the time?
Let me
Player 1 ID, right?
No player. Whoops. Player 1 name.
Good player. Now you literally can never claim that you're not a good player.
Oh, you'd be surprised. We'll see about that.
There we go.
He got lucky again, right?
It's cannoli of 2 ends.
Somehow he stumbled upon 7 points.
It's KO and no
And
ends.
somehow he just.
No, I think Dan realizes
he
that
doesn't like it.
he's naming it.
He does not like
He doesn't like it, Dan.
No, he doesn't like it?
No.
I thought Dan Virginio's
I know what his name is.
Italian food aficionado.
That's true. You should know how to spell cannoli.
I see. As an Italian, I'm ignorant. I can't spell words.
Disposable HQ.
Oh, yeah.
In South Philly, Italians can't even spell Italian words. We just make up different spellings.
I think if for some actual brief narrative, I think
We
the
should bring
defining
it.
factor of that
Yeah, and I
game
didn't
was
get
that
it,
he did
Jimbo.
not draw a second Kugo to put on our cards.
Oh, that's always really bad. I mean, like that deck really needs 2 Kukugos like to function at
Interesting.
peak. Like really, what you want is you want all 3 on all your dungeons, and then you just do nothing.
Right. And then he had secured that in the game where I faced him.
Yeah, that was the defining feature was that Eric was able to single access R&D every turn for like 15 turns. And if that was a Kuga, that is the rest of his deck.
Yeah.
Well, no, but Eric was.
Well, there you have it. You have a champion.
Let's bring him on.
By 3 people about his finding.
Holy cannoli, let's bring it.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah, bring him on. You want to talk to him? Yeah. You should probably talk to him.
Champion on stream.
Cannoli, you did it!
We're bringing over the champ here. He'll be here shortly.
He'll be here shortly. He's going to the bathroom, you know, drinking some water. He's going to the bathroom. He'll be back. Whew. What a day. What an event.
So Kenny, reflections on the weekend. We saw all kinds of decks. We saw a really strong Valve field. What are your thoughts about the weekend and the meta that we just saw?
I'm not crazy about the meta. I think
Corplin's in a tough spot, and that actually Steven's success showed that a grindy, aggressive deck was what was going to keep you alive in a field full of Vals.
Yeah, I think Josh is extremely good on the meta. I think it's not my favorite. It's not the worst. I feel like there's some interesting play in a lot of matchups. I feel like Corp's down, and it's a little too draw dependent. You kind of need your best draws to, like, all the decks need draws to get certain ways to win.